Hi, Dave Jones here. I'm sorry I can't be with you tonight, but I'm with you in spirit. You're getting to see I, Daniel Blake in Luton, which is great. I'm very proud of this film. It was amazing working with Ken Loach, his privilege, and also the fantastic and amazing actress that is Hayley Squires. Winning the Palme d'Or in Cannes in May, and last Sunday the BAFTA. It was a tremendous honour, but also winning those awards is very good for the film. It keeps it in the public eye and it adds weight to the message. I do hope that you enjoy, well, I won't say enjoy, I'll say experience the film. It's had the same effect all over the UK where it's been shown, and also in Europe. And as I say, I'm tremendously proud of this film, and thank you very much. And again, I'm sorry I can't be with you.
Okay, I'd just like to invite Salma Khan. Salma's the coordinator of Luton Foodbank. And before we hand over to you, Salma, just got Jim, the coordinator, has asked me to say a few words about the film and some context. So what I'll do is I'll read out Jim's notes, then we'll have Salma, and then we'll have a discussion if people have any contributions to make and stuff. Amazing film, very moving indeed. The best British film. Ken Loach, he's prolific. He's 80, the UK's most prolific director, 30 TV shows in 1964, 26 feature films, 2 Palme d'Ors, The Wind That Shakes the Barley, and we should honour that achievement. Ken's achievements. Controversial, arguably he's the most politically controversial director in the UK. Some of his TV documentaries have been banned on TV, and many more have been delayed. I, Daniel Blake, you may be amused to know, former Work and Pension Secretary Ian Duncan Smith referred to the film as unfair, aiming particular criticism at its portrayal of job centre staff, saying the idea that everyone is out to crunch you, I think, has really hurt job centre staff who don't see themselves as that. Producer Rebecca O'Brien responded by stating that Ian Duncan Smith is living in cloud cuckoo land. More seriously, Loach made this observation about this film, a Kafkaesque catch-22 situation designed to frustrate and humiliate the claimant to such an extent that they drop out of the system and stop pursuing their right to ask for support if necessary. Loach explains the politics are embedded into the characters and the narrative, which is a more sophisticated way of doing it. I'll come back to that. Jim will come back. The notes say that I'll come back to that observation in a moment. While preparing this talk, Jim, the coordinator, realised he has been a major influence on Jim, that Ken Loach had been a major influence on Jim. Now, Jim's just turned 70. He's retired from being a filmmaker himself at the University of Bedfordshire. When Jim started watching films, I started watching films when Ken, started making them. I'm just going to mention a couple of his early successes. And he was impressed by the social relevance of his films, the way he brought ordinary working class characters to the screen with regional accents. Cathy Come Home in 1966, shown in the Wednesday play. The series ran from 1964 to 1970, gained a reputation for presenting contemporary social dramas and bringing issues to the attention of a mass audience that would not otherwise have been discussed, and issues that an audience and issues that would not have been discussed on screen. And Cathy Come Home, and that was seen by 12 million people. And the story was about a young couple, Reg and Kathy's descent into homelessness. Reg loses his job through injury. Kathy gets pregnant, stays with his mum, and they rent a place. They're okay until the landlady dies, and then they get evicted. They move to a caravan park, and which is burnt down by local residents. They move into a squat. They separate, and Kathy goes into a refuge. Kathy becomes homeless, and social services take away her children. Now, I remember watching that at the age of 7 on TV, and I can remember that and being traumatized by that real life portrayal myself. And this is not just speaking, this is me, because I remember, and I think I've got a mate there, Kevin, who I went to infant school with. I don't know if you remember watching that when we were... Yeah, so that's really stayed with me, that has. Then Ken went on to produce a modern tragedy. In 2005, it was named by broadcaster as the UK's most influential TV programme of all time. It's available on Loach's YouTube channel and on his DVD. And then in 1969, Kes, another tragic story, this time a feature film, set in Barnsley, a rundown mining district in Yorkshire. Billy, a 15-year-old misfit who's bullied at home and at school. His mum says he's a hopeless case. He steals a kestrel from a nest and it becomes his only friend. He trains and looks after it, gets books on falconry, praised by his English teacher for giving a talk on falconry. So if you've got, those who haven't seen Kes, definitely see Kes. It's really worth seeing. In the BFI poll, Kes was voted amongst the 10 best films of the 20th century, but it flopped in the USA because they couldn't understand the regional accents. So that's a bit of background about Ken Loach and his contribution to filmmaking. I just want to hand over to Salma, who's coordinator of Foodbank, to talk about kind of the portrayal of Foodbank in this film. And indeed, for many of you who are not aware, we've actually got a food bank in Luton, and tonight we're doing a collection for the food bank. And please, feel free to donate. The Culture and Conflict Film Factory season is donating £100, which is Dave Johns' expenses for tonight because he couldn't make it. It's being donated to the food bank directly. But before I move on to you, Salma, there's a very, very important announcement, which is a linked announcement. There's a public meeting, the NHS crisis and how we can solve it. Our NHS, no cuts, no closures, no privatisation. It's a very important meeting. It's going to take place in Luton on Wednesday the 1st of March at 8 p.m. at the Lucy Farm Learning Centre, which is in Tomlinson Avenue. And it's organised by the local Luton Momentum Group. So there's someone in the audience with further leaflets about that. It's a very, very important meeting, very important issue, the NHS, very important issue, defending NHS. So without any further ado, I'd like people to welcome Salma. Salma can talk to us more about the food bank.
Good evening, everyone. That was a very moving and emotional film for me. It had me in tears. I'm sure it had a lot of you in tears as well. What I'm going to do is just look at the scenes that had the food bank and the type of clients that we see as well. So 36% of our clients suffer from an illness or disability from which mental health is very high. Mental health is a disability that cannot be identified through physical assessment. As you can see, the way that Daniel was assessed is the way that they make the assessments, and mental health won't be identified through those type of things. And unfortunately, 36% of our clients come from not mental health, but from have an illness or disability. Sanctions in Luton are one of the highest in the country. Job Centre can stop your benefits completely or sanction you up to 12 weeks. We work in partnership with Citizen Advice Bureau. So where they showed Kaylee, was it, going into the food bank, what would happen in Luton is you would go to the food bank and we'd have the food parcels already ready for you to take home. So she wouldn't need to go around, because we try to make it as respectable and easy for them to quickly take the food. We provide the food in supermarket bags so that when they do take the food out, no one can see. We don't have those long queues. We have 7 distribution centres that are across Luton. We do 2-hour distribution. We run for 2 hours. Every distribution runs for 2 hours basically, and they don't line up. They come in, we see them very quickly, we give them their food, and they have the opportunity to see Citizen Advice Bureau at each time that they visit the food bank. We give them 3 days worth of food, and our parcel, they can come back to see us again if the issue is not resolved, and each time they use us they have to be assessed. Our assessment process is no way like Job Centre Plus is. We only assess them to find out what issues or what crisis they're in, so we can get them the right advice and support, or signpost them to the right place. And because we have Citizen Advice Bureau there, they can help them with the form filling, and we know a lot of people find that daunting, especially if you've been working all your life and then you have to turn to benefits, or it's really difficult. We have clients like Daniel and like Kaylee, and they pay taxes, and due to unforeseen circumstances they have to turn to benefits. 33% of our clients are in a short-term crisis, so that's things like paying for an unexpected bill that they didn't expect, especially during winter, paying for a child's school trip. So if you're hand to mouth and you've got to pay £200 for a child's school trip, that's going to put you back a bit. The main breadwinner falling ill, or a bereavement, your partner leaving you, losing your job. So there's various different things that come under a short-term crisis, and that's what we do through our assessment process, find out what is the crisis that the client is experiencing. A lot of the people are very reluctant to use us because they feel that the food bank's not for them, but we'd rather them turn to us than payday loans and get themselves into debt and crisis. We work with our clients to reduce the stigma and explain that we're just an emergency stopgap for them, and we're going to help them get back into the system, be it benefits or jobs. They can use us up to 5 times a year. Again, they'll be assessed by an approved referral agency. We do have over 100 referral agencies, so it's more accessible for people in poverty to access us. And they can call us and we'll just direct them to the right place. So where are we? So 33% of our clients have benefit-related issues, so that could be benefits stopped, changed, sanctions, or they're waiting for the benefits to start just the way it was shown in the film. We also have clients that have been evicted and been put in hotels and B&Bs. Last year we started distributing kettle packs because what we found was they don't have the cooking facilities to use our food parcel. So now we have to make them a special parcel that they can use the food with a kettle, which is really sad, but at least we're giving them food. So that's stuff like pot noodles, porridge, and items like that. This week we had a client that was moved from Milton Keynes to Luton, and she called us, Milton Keynes called us, and she was really distressed. She had 2 children, one was 4, one was 4 months, and she needed a food parcel. We signposted her CAB, she got her voucher, she got a food parcel, but what I'm trying to tell you is that the local authority won't help her because she hasn't been here for 12 months. And it feels like MK have kind of abandoned her, and now she's with us, and she's going to be probably a long-term user of the food bank until her benefits are sorted. We also have clients, and when they come to us, they do break down, and that was a really strong scene where she did open the spaghetti and started eating it. And we do have people who come to us, and we provide them with tea and coffee as well. But we try to make the process very quick for them, so that if they do feel hungry, they can go out, and we will provide them with food then and there as well. In Luton, there was a benefit cap that was introduced in December the 27th, so straight after Christmas. This caused a lot of people distress. Straight after Christmas, most families didn't even realise that the benefits were capped until it affected their bank balance. We gave out 337 parcels in 1 week during December, and that was equivalent to 67 parcels a day. 22% of young people in Luton live in poverty, and that's one of the worst rates in the east of England. Last year we gave out 7,500 parcels. That's an increase of 25% from the year before. We don't think that, that this is going to reduce. The government expenditure makes it uncertain that it'll improve. 87% of our people use us once or twice before their crisis is resolved. Which is a positive. It shows that we don't have that many long-term users, but 87% of people using us once or twice is a very high number. Today we gave out 60 parcels, and we've given out already 136 parcels this week. So it looks very grim, but with the support of Luton, what I would like to say that, I'm sure is it 90% of our food is donated by the public? Yeah. 90% of the food that we get is donated by the public. So Luton is a very giving town, and we want them to continue to give to us so we can carry on supporting these families. I mean, you can help in all sorts of ways. You can volunteer with us. You can take part in our fundraising campaigns, which I will mention before I finish. You can check out our website. We've got all our facts, information. We've even got YouTube videos for anybody to use to show them how to use a food parcel or how to use food, make basic meals. And what I would like to say is, I know the kids went to the food bank in this film, but we don't tend to see children come to food bank because I think parents don't want their children to know that they're using the food bank. We find that before half term we're very busy, and we find that after half term we're very busy, and that's obviously because they haven't come to see us during half term. Because obviously nobody wants a child to know that they're turning to the food bank, and you saw the scene where the child's being bullied as well. So that's another reason why we make sure that we run from community centres, and some clients actually don't come to the community centres that are near them. They come to the ones that are a bit further out, so people don't see that they're coming to the food bank. And that's everything that I've kind of picked up from the movie. But if there's any questions that I can try to answer, I've got Taka here as well, who's part of our management, and I'm sure he'll help me out if I get stuck.
Yeah. Let me add a few things. I'll add a few things with Salma said. Single persons in Luton, about 50% of our clients are single people. That has increased. At one point when we started the food bank, we used to get families. But now it has changed. Almost over 50% is single person. And you can see why, because they are the least prioritized clients. They are homeless. There are a lot of homeless in Luton as well. Street homeless, highest, about fifth in the league, national league. About 70 odd people sleeping rough on the streets. This is not those who are temporarily accommodated, and they are in a lodgings or hostels, or there are people here who might be dealing with those sort of clients. But these are very, very important. Selma mentioned about people coming from Milton Keynes, which I call internal migration. Luton has seen a lot of them. Most of them come from either London as well. Quite a lot of them have come from London. And you probably won't see them around. But only authority realizes that when they access our services in Luton, for a year they're not able to claim anything. They're left there, basically. So these deprivations, these issues are not going away. We are in such a demand now. At one point we thought, summer times will be very quiet. But this year, or 2016, we, from August to December, we have been working flat out. There was no break at home. Normally we see summer period, people are very quiet, but we had a maximum output of food going out of the warehouse. So you can see the tragedies building up. Luton is a very small town, but yet this is a classic example nationally. we are very organized food bank, so people don't see us on the streets. Our vans are not labeled either. It's very discreet. We are very careful about those as well, so that nobody knows about us. But we are very proactive. Any donation, any gifts, anything you can do for food bank is all welcome. But we are very grateful to Luton people because we receive so much food, and we are currently at least for 16 or 18 weeks stock. If we don't get any food, that is around about 31,000 items on the shelf. It's a supermarket operation because we do quite a lot of other work as well, because every item is logged in and every item is dated and issued according to date as well. So all help is welcome. Thank you.
I'm going to use this opportunity to basically promote our fundraising campaigns that we've got coming up. So we've got a big pedal that's coming up, so if any of you cycle or if you know anyone who cycles, please get in contact. It's all on our website. We've got a 5K colour run coming up on the 22nd of April at Stockwell Park, so if you want to take part in that, please contact us. And we also have a coffee morning campaign on the 25th of March to Saturday the 1st of April, and that's something you can do with your friends, your family, just get some cakes together, very similar to McDonald's, just helps us bring in some money so we can use that money to buy food items that we run out of, so we are able to carry on providing food parcels. Just a quick thing on top of what Taka said was, we had a very successful harvest campaign. We brought in 25,000 food items. We had a very successful Christmas campaign. Again, we brought in, people of Luton gave us 25,000 food items, but we also are giving out a lot of food items at the same time. At the moment, we've only got a month's supply of cereal, so if you're passing Asda, Sainsbury's, or if the money you donate, that's what we're buying cereal so we can continue our stock, so we're able to carry on providing food parcels. And our donation boxes are here, so please donate on your way out, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I want to open out. If anyone's got a comment or a contribution to make, I want to open out into a discussion about the film, about Ken Loach, about the food bank, about, there's one observation that it's 2017 and we've got food banks and we've got people living on the streets and we're a first world country. What's happening? Does anyone want to make a contribution or say something? Is that her? Do you want to sort of pass around the mic? You don't mind because
Hello. I've always supported Luton Foodbank, but I think it's disgusting it exists just because you shouldn't have to.
Of course.
And the fact that what annoyed me halfway through this film is this was a very limited ticket event today, and I've wanted to see this film since the second it was announced, and Luton didn't show it at all. Yeah. It wasn't available here to see at all. Yeah. And that's a film that should have been made free by Cineworld in Luton and open to everyone to see, because that's such an important film that I would say probably isn't even close to a reality for a lot of people. That's probably the tame version of what's seen. The woman in the food bank, the whole point of her not being able to get sanitary products is repulsive in every way, shape or form, and it's just continuously swept under the covers. I'm at university trying to get into the media, but I'm also very aware that the media is bastardising people that are on benefits with TV shows, with really fat people smoking cigarettes with their massive TVs going, oh, I'm not going to work here. And that's the reality for so many people, is what happened in that film, and that's not what's being shown, because we need enemies in this country. And that's who we've made the enemy now, is the unemployed and the people that are struggling the most, and it's just... And the disabled, of all people, the disabled. No, terrible.
Why is this happening?
Yeah, really depressing film, but to my mind this is a direct result of the last 6 years of government, the coalition followed by a Conservative government. I actually live in Central Beds, Dunstable, and I write to my MP all the time, Andrew Salute, who professes to be a spiritual man, who professes to be a good man, and his answer is basically we're living beyond our means, whatever that means. That's his always answer. That's his standard answer.
Sorry?
Living beyond our means.
Oh, living beyond our means.
As a country, as an economy. So for me, that's a direct result. I work every day in the NHS in Luton in Bedfordshire, and this is the experience that our clients with mental health problems get all the time. And I'm getting a bit upset now, so I think I'll just pass it over. But yeah, it's the government.
Hello there. I'm actually going through this at the moment. I've always worked, and then about 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with a few illnesses, and I get disability money, and yet the ESA people, they say that I'm fit for work. So at the moment, I am. I've been trying to, the mandatory reconsideration they say that you have to go through, the Disability Centre told me they can do that over the telephone, and yet one lady said, oh no, we can't do that, and then I got passed on to someone else, and the whole situation with that is still going on, and I haven't had anything since December. And if it wasn't for the fact that I live with someone who is working full-time, I would have nothing. I'm just getting a small amount of disability, and that's it. So watching that, I feel, that's terrible that people are going through that. And also the food bank issue, I never realised how bad it was. To actually think that people are starving in this day and age is just disgusting, absolutely disgusting. I mean, I get to eat because my other half provides, but to have nothing, I was like that many years ago in the 80s, where I had nothing. But to actually go through it now for people in this day and age is terrible.
The biggest obesity crisis going. It's happening.
Do you think the reason why this is going on now in 2017, food banks and people starving, etc., is that there's a deliberate policy by all governments, not just the present one, to make some people have such a miserable time, and be seen to be having a miserable time, in order to keep the rest of us without noses to the grindstone. I think it's not an accident. I think this country is wealthy enough to make sure that nobody starves or has to visit the food bank.
Quite an opinionated person, I apologise. Yeah, so the second one was a twin. I think it's completely true what you said there. I think society works on having people pushed to the ground. We've seen it throughout all history that we need those people, and I think it's unfortunate that we decided those that we push to the ground now are the most physically vulnerable in society. And it annoys me that we can throw money into fighting campaigns for politics and voting out or in.
Very small town, but yet this is a classic example national. We are very organized food bank, so people don't see us on the streets. Our vans are not labeled either. It's very discreet. We are very careful about those as well, so that nobody knows about us. But we are very proactive. Any donation, any gifts, any anything you can do for food bank is all welcome. But we are very grateful to Luton people because we receive so much food, and we are currently at least for 16 or 18 weeks stock. If we don't get any food, that is around about 31,000 items on the shelf. It's a supermarket operation because we do quite a lot of other work as well, because every item is logged in and every item is dated and issued according to date as well. So all help is welcome. Thank you.
I'm going to use this opportunity to basically promote our fundraising campaigns that we've got coming up. So we've got a big pedal that's coming up. So if any of you cycle, or if you know anyone who cycles, please get in contact. It's all on our website. We've got a 5K colour run coming up on the 22nd of April at Stockwell Park. So if you want to take part in that, please contact us. And we also have a coffee morning campaign on the 25th of March to Saturday the 1st of April, and that's something you can do with your friends, your family, just get some cakes together, very similar to McDonald's. Just helps us bring in some money so we can use that money to buy food items that we run out of, so we are able to carry on providing food parcels. Just a quick thing on top of what Taka said was, we had a very successful harvest campaign. We bought in 25,000 food items. We had a very successful Christmas campaign. Again, we bought in, people of Luton gave us 25,000 food items, but we also are giving out a lot of food items at the same time. At the moment, we've only got a month's supply of cereal, so if you're passing Asda, Sainsbury's, or if the money you donate, that's what we're buying cereal, so we can continue our stock, so we're able to carry on providing food parcels. And our donation boxes are here, so please donate on your way out, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I want to open out. If anyone's got a comment or a contribution to make, I want to open out into a discussion about the film, about Ken Loach, about the food bank, about, there's one observation that it's 2017 and we've got food banks and we've got people living on the streets and we're a first world country. What's happening? Does anyone want to make a contribution or say something? Is that happening? You don't mind
Hello. I've always supported Luton Foodbank, but I think it's disgusting you exist just because you shouldn't have to. And the fact that what annoyed me halfway through this film is this was a very limited ticket event today, and I've wanted to see this film since the second it was announced, and Luton didn't show it at all. It wasn't available here to see at all. And that's a film that should have been made free by Cineworld in Luton and open to everyone to see, because that's such an important film that I would say probably isn't even close to a reality for a lot of people. That's probably the tame version of what's seen. The woman in the food bank, the whole point of her not being able to get sanitary products is repulsive in every way, shape or form. And it's just continuously swept under the covers. I'm at university trying to get into the media, but I'm also very aware that the media is bastardising people that are on benefits with TV shows, with really fat people smoking cigarettes with their massive TVs going, oh, I'm not going to work here. And that's the reality for so many people, is what happened in that film, and that's not what's being shown, because we need enemies in this country, and that's who we've made the enemy now, is the unemployed and the people that are struggling the most, and it's just, and the disabled, of all people, the disabled. No, terrible.
Why is this happening?
Yeah, really depressing film, but to my mind this is a direct result of the last 6 years of government, the coalition followed by a Conservative government, I actually live in Central Beds, Dunstable, and I write to my MP all the time, Andrew Salute, who professes to be a spiritual man, who professes to be a good man. But his answer is basically, we're living beyond our means, whatever that means. That's his always answer. That's his standard answer.
Sorry? Living beyond our means.
Oh, living beyond our means.
As a country, as an economy. So for me, that's a direct result. I work every day in the NHS in Luton in Bedfordshire, and this is the experience that our clients with mental health problems get all the time. And I'm getting a bit upset now, so I think I'll just pass over. But it's the government.
Hello there. I'm actually going through this at the moment. I've always worked, and then about 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with a few illnesses, and I get disability money, and yet the ESA, they say that I'm fit for work. So at the moment, I am, I've been trying to, the mandatory reconsideration they say that you have to go through, the Disability Centre told me they can do that over the telephone, and yet one lady said, oh no, we can't do that, and then I got passed on to someone else, and the whole situation with that is still going on, and I haven't had anything since December. And if it wasn't for the fact that I live with someone who is working full-time, I would have nothing. I'm just getting a small amount of disability, and that's it. So watching that, I feel, that's terrible that people are going through that. And also, the food bank issue, I never realised how bad it was. To actually think that people are starving in this day and age is just disgusting, absolutely disgusting. I mean, I get to eat because my other half provides, but to have nothing, I was like that many, many years ago in the 80s, where I had nothing. But to actually go through it now for people in this day and age is terrible.
The biggest obesity crisis going.
Do you think the reason why this is going on now in 2017, food banks and people starving, etc., is that there's a deliberate policy by all governments, not just the present one, to make some people have such a miserable time, and be seen to be having a miserable time, in order to keep the rest of us about noses to the grindstone. I think it's not an accident. I think this country is wealthy enough to make sure that nobody starves or has to visit the food bank.
Quite an opinionated person, I apologise. So the second one was the twin. I think it's completely true what you said there. I think society works on having people pushed to the ground. We've seen it throughout all history that we need those people, and I think it's unfortunate that we decided those that we push to the ground now are the most physically vulnerable in society. And it annoys me that we can throw money into fighting campaigns for politics and voting out or in, or voting for celebrities that aren't real people, and voting for hate and crime. But you ask anyone to rise up and it doesn't really work. It becomes a riot, and then of course the people who rioted and stole diarrhea tablets, they're the ones in the problem. They should have hundreds of years in jail. But this is something we should be on the streets marching about. We shouldn't ever allow you two to work in the way you do, because it shouldn't exist. You shouldn't need to do this. We have the biggest obesity crisis, just look at me, in this country, in this world, we have an obesity crisis. At the same time, there are people that are starving. And that's such a contradiction. You can't have the two. Either have everyone fat, or everyone's starving. It doesn't make sense to have one of each. You can walk Luton streets and there's chicken shop, chicken shop, chicken shop, oh, and food bank. They should physically not exist. And it's just...
I was just going to say, in response to you talking about the obesity crisis and the food banks, they're both examples of the same problem, because the reason why people are getting fat is low quality food. You know, it's cheap, it's crap, it makes you fat without giving you many, the nutrients and things that you need. And they're both part of the same problem. They're not getting fat because they're eating too much, they're getting fat because they're eating too much cheap food. And it's just a terrible system that we're in at the moment.
At the front here. Then this lady behind.
This almost started with stigmatization of the benefit system. And the media has a role it played in sort of venting the anger towards people who are claiming benefits. And the politician then hang on to that. And it became worse. And this is an issue now, that they have now, because it has been privatized, you've got a private company assessing people who they have no control of. And maximum numbers are really, when they, on the appeals, they win the appeals. So this is another issue, which we need to realize that. So that is causing all these problems. But we, as a volunteers, I'm a volunteer almost full time now, because almost 5 days a week I'm working for food bank. But seeing people on a daily basis, when I'm at the distribution center, you feel that they have got this last resort here, that at least they've got some food coming in. And some of the people, you can imagine, like in the films as well, that they're ashamed of this label. And it is disturbing because it causes the mental issue as well. And that, the system has to pay for it, and we pay for that because NHS has to deal with that at the end of the day. And mental health issue deals, if you don't deal with it, you've got other issues, other health issues. And that's running in a cycle. You never break that cycle. And it is dire. Situation is pretty bad at NHS level. And you can imagine how things are.
Yeah. This lady here, and then...
I just sort of sense after watching that about really people being at full stretch, and it sort of goes on a little bit from what you're saying. I'm a local Church of England vicar. I'm also a trustee of Dunstable Foodbank. And you're doing a brilliant job here with your food bank, and I know my trustees and the volunteers with whom I work are amazing as well. But just in this week, in the same week that I've come to see this film, I've had 2 different people come to my door who are both in the context of a housing crisis. And I'm seeing that more and more, and actually it feels like there are fewer people to whom people can turn. And so sometimes people are just coming to me to be listened to. And that was that point in the film where there was no listening to him. And the state that he got in, that he actually wrote his name up because he was being erased. And I'm dealing and listening with more and more people who just come to me because they know that I am an open door and I will listen to them. But that's increasing exponentially and has. And I've been in ministry full-time now, 16 years, no, more. And it's increasing, it's going up. I'm noticing there's a change in what I'm doing in the context of my ministry.
Things you shouldn't be doing. not
Yeah,
necessarily.
I mean, it is
Not your
absolutely
job
what I'm
description.
supposed to be doing, but it's like you were saying, it's the paradox of
Yeah.
the food bank. Why is it there, really? Yeah.
Foodbank was a three-year project.
I know. Ditto for us. Yeah, it's supposed to be short term. Yeah.
This gentleman, and then should we take it? We'll take this gentleman, and then we'll take you.
Just 2 points I'd make. One is quite a sort of difficult personal one that last time I came to see a film, I was stopped on the way home by a lad of about 15, 16. He seemed very genuine, and he told me, he was almost in tears, he told me he hadn't slept for 3 nights, he was absolutely starving, and he couldn't stay in any of the hostels. He needed £35 to go to Premier Inn or whatever, and I made it clear I couldn't afford that sort of money. I thought maybe I should take him home, and then obviously I thought, no, that's not a wise move. So I gave him what cash I had to go and get a hot meal, and I just went away thinking, he was like a kid, he was 14, 15, and he wasn't, And then I thought, if I can share it with you, I thought the next step for him is the next step for her in that film. The way to, if you can't make money yourself, you sell your body and your soul. What I wanted to say was, more sort of professional level, that I used to work, I still do a bit, on personal injury claims not against the state, DWP, but against insurance companies. And what the film highlighted very well was that the staff who work in these agencies are not sympathetic, and the one woman who was sympathetic to him was called into the office saying, you got bad black mark on your book. I had a client who had a back injury and upper arm, shoulder injuries, and he was asked, the thing is they put out the assessment to a French company. What is it in England? We can't assess people ourselves. And the woman kept saying, I'm a healthcare professional. Are you a nurse or a doctor? I'm a healthcare professional. She'd been on a one-day course. He was asked, can you lift a cardboard box? And he said quite rightly, well, it depends what's in it. I'm sorry, that answer was unacceptable. Can you lift a cardboard box, yes or no? He had to say, well, yes. So guess what job they offered him? Warehouse. And I think that kind of reinforces, that is the reality that is reinforced in the film.
If we take this gentleman, and then we'll come down to the front. No, we got there, and then we'll...
Thank you. I just want to talk a bit, I think, about the problem, which is why the culture accepts the situation that we're in. And I'll just use a personal example. I was in the job centre about 5 years ago, and when I was there was a lot of people talking to me saying that I'm frustrated by the fact that the job centre is not getting me work. Like a good tens of people all expressing the same frustration to me. But then there was one guy, he was about maybe 20, and he was confessing to me that he had no intention of getting a job, that he was there just to game the system to get benefits. Now, I know that in the context of all the opinions I'd heard, I knew that this one guy was not the rule; he was the exception, and I knew that that you shouldn't. If you're going to have a system like this, you need. There are always going to be people who cheat the system, but there are people in our country who believe that any system that allows anyone to cheat it should not exist or should not be running. And I feel that's a big part of the problem, because but just what I'm saying is there are people who get offended by the idea of anybody cheating the system, and basically if any one person can cheat the benefit system, they believe the benefit system shouldn't be running. And I think I see this mentality. My parents used to read the Daily Mail, and every so often there would be the mother with 10 children, and the Daily Mail would be saying, oh, look how terrible this is, this mother with 10 children claiming hundreds of pounds of benefits. The fact that this mother and 10 children, there might be less than 100 of them in the country, but the fact that this kind of person exists compared to the millions of people who are in a much more reasonable situation, it doesn't. That's the problem we have. I feel that's one of the attitudes we need to be challenging in this country. We need to just accept the fact that in millions of people reasonably claiming benefits, reasonably on welfare, that there may be 100 or so who may be cheating the system. We need to accept that is just a cost of making sure that a lot of people are getting the help that they need. And I'm bringing that up because I think it's an attitude I've seen personally. And I say to people, yes, this person who may be gaming the system is bad, but to try to say that we should stop benefits altogether because of that is terrible. And that's really all I wanted to say.
Who's I think at the front.
First of all, I just wanted to say it's an absolutely amazing film. Really struck a chord with me. I really felt that, and I've personally, on a personal level, really felt maybe I haven't done enough with Foodbank, and maybe I should do more and encourage others. I also hats off to everybody who's played a part in that, locally or in other towns as well, and members of the community who support it. What struck me the most about this film was the irony and the hypocrisy of the whole situation, because what you've got is the government playing every trick in the book to try and penny pinch really where they can to save money. And we know wherever they do save money, we just end up spending it on war anyway. It's not as if we benefit from it. But they're penny pinching wherever they can. But let's just quickly analyse the cost that they're generating to save pennies. So you've got, as you mentioned earlier on, a healthcare professional from an American company. They're on a gravy train. Do you really think per hour they're charging peanuts to sit there? Someone's making serious money out of that. We're paying for that. Then you've got a situation where this massive form is being filled out, but then another hour or two is spent going back through it again. Who's paying for that? Who's paying for these people sitting there, duplicating work and trying their best to stop people from getting benefits? And then when all these people are going on appeal, can you imagine how much money that costs per hour? For every judge, every doctor, every tribunal sitting there, rent of the room, the advisors, it's not cheap. So if you tally it all up, I can guarantee to you that the cost of preventing people to get on benefits probably outweighs the amount they save massively. It's a whole hypocrisy, it really is.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm really fired up, and I think it is continuing on what you were saying as well. It's how we are spending money and wasting it. Not only are we saying that we need to be independent and separate and Britain great, we're also outsourcing to every other nation in the world because they can do a better job than we can. We're raising, as I said, I was a student. I'm sat next to another student who's paying £9,000 to be at university. I was lucky enough to pay free. Wow. But she might never get a job that pays that fully back, and I might never get a job that pays that fully back, which is again a huge amount of money left that's never going to get claimed back by the government. We need to stop. We need to stop them from wasting money, and we need to put money into the NHS again and look after things again and have some more dignity as a country, because it upsets me to say I'm born and bred in a country that is allowing this to happen around us as we walk. You who saw the man in the street, and it's true, it makes you ashamed. To see this as being a film that's being taken around the world and people are saying, oh, well done, isn't that great, look at the acting in that, oh, that's so lovely. There's people who are going to think that's a really good drama fantasy and are not going to realise how real that is, how that's not based on a fictional idea of imagine if people were hungry and actually disabled. That's reality. We look at the things we see on TV, like you were saying about how we need to accept that there are exceptions to rules. There are. But as long as we mention those people who are the exception and not the rule, we are always going to be in the same situation where we're allowing Channel 4, the BBC, Channel 5, Rupert Murdoch, anyone who has the power to go, look at this lovely TV show where we're going to give them a year's worth of benefits. Look, they spent it on that. This one's got cosmetic surgery. Huh. No, I'm guilty of watching those things and sitting there going, oh, I'm better than that. But I'm not. None of us are better than that. And I'm sorry, I talk too much.
Okay, I just want to draw this to a close and kind of sum up. The film was an intense film. It was a you know, the best British film. Very moving, very real. But it's also, I think, for me, it's also a call to action. You know, we watch a film, we get moved. What we can do about it. So for me personally, it's a call to action. Really, it's a wake up. It's a call to action. So I'd like to thank you all for coming, taking part, taking the time to care, really. And on behalf of the Hat Factory, thanks once again for coming. On behalf of Runaway Media, who organised this with the Hat Factory, thank you. And the organiser, the coordinator, is stuck on a train, probably back and right now, but he tried to get to Luton. Just to remind you that the Luton Foodbank is out there, working with people, with communities, with those who are struggling. So do support the Luton Foodbank. I've mentioned the Save Our NHS leaflet. There are people who are mobilising and organising to save our NHS, and it's definitely worth saving. And there's someone at the back with leaflets about this meeting, so do pick up your leaflet about that. And thank you very much for coming. Have a safe journey home. Do support your local arts centre. There's more films coming up. We've got films, we've got music, we've got theatre. Most nights, most Thursday, Friday and Saturday nights. And yes, thank you. And here are the buckets. And thank you so much as well. And thank you.